So this is actually a class that I've been teaching for several years before community engagement was cool, before servant leadership was like a real thing. It's definitely a tried and true testament to our industry and being a relevant agent and being able to weather through some of our industry changes that I've at least seen in the 14 years that I've been in business. I know there are people on this call or in class that have been in business a lot longer, and you've seen even more industry changes and challenges. So this has helped me. It's helped agents that I've mentored, brokerages that I've taught this at, kind of stay, relevant and thriving in this industry. So I'll kind of go through this. I'll keep an eye on the chat box too. So if anyone has any questions or anything, Kevin, just let me know and we can kind of, have an engaging conversation about being engaged. So a little bit about what I'll cover today. So client retention is a huge thing for me, but so is being involved and engaged in the industry. Without being involved and engaged, I feel like you don't have as many clients to even, be in your pipeline and have a retention with. So I'll kind of go through, why, it's important to kind of be engaged with your brokerage. I know like I'm working from home today, but, we do have that level of support and resources there as well. The association, I'm sure Kevin has tapped many of you to get involved with Miami Realtors. And I'll kind of go into, what that meant for me and, what you can really get out of the association. Where you live, I am a huge proponent for community involvement, whether it be charitable organizations or just community get-togethers or traditions that you have. And then, of course, that client retention. I'm sure you've all had conversations with consumers, friends, family that are like, oh yeah, so and so sold my house, and then I never heard from them again. I'd rather not be one of those realtors that just sells a house and says, see you later. I like to kind of have that relationship with them. So I will jump right in. All right, so I kind of went through that, why is it important to stay involved and get involved? So first up is your first point of contact, and that is, of course, your brokerage. And I think there's people in the waiting room. Okay, hopefully you can let them in. Okay, so your brokerage. Awesome. So your brokerage is that first line of support and contact. So you've got anything from your office staff who are the ones that really make your transaction from start to finish. They're the ones that process the paperwork, ensure that you're being compliant, help you understand the type of contracts or forms you need. I know a little bit about your marketplace, and I know you guys have several different contracts. So leaning into office staff to ensure that you're using the right contract, the as is versus the not as is, and ensuring that you're representing your client the right way. And I find that it's easier to do when you've already built a reputation and a relationship with that office staff. So getting to know them on that business level and even personal level will help you, because when you have a need for something, instead of just being, forgive my lackadaisy terminology, but being a rando, just calling into an office and, the office staff picking up and you're like, oh yeah, I'm Connie, I'm with your office. You don't know me. I've only been around for the last 3 years, but I don't come to anything. But hey, I have a problem and now I need your help. It's kind of a weird situation. And if you were the person on the other end of the phone, you'd be like, really? Like, you've been here 3 years. Yeah, I don't know who you are. And now you need my help. Like, sure, let me drop everything to help you. It's a lot better and easier when you have that built relationship. So if you're a brand new agent, or maybe an agent that doesn't even have a lot of transactions going on right now, still make that effort to go in and get to know the staff. I even take it a step further, and I always like to know like what they like especially treat wise, because there will be those moments in a deal where you're like, I really need it's SOS, like I need help and I need like a Hail Mary. And sometimes, and I'm just a people person, so like if I can kind of bribe you or make you feel special and then be like, hey, Hope you love those chocolates, but also like I need this, or hey, that was super awesome that you stepped in, you helped me in a moment where I thought the world was crumbling, but you were my savior, and here's whatever it is. Like my one secretary, she loves buttery Chardonnay. I hate Chardonnay, but I always keep bottles on deck because when I need Linda, like I'll grab a bottle and I'm like, hey, that was really awesome what you did the other day. Like, thank you so much. And it just helps that relationship build. And then they want to go out of their way to help you. And when you're dealing with multiple personalities, multiple deals and contracts, sometimes it's really nice that you have this like extra source of people that are there supporting you. And I'm not saying that your office staff wouldn't support you if you didn't bring them a bottle of Chardonnay, but man, they'll really support you if they're like, you know what, Connie's my girl. She always takes care of me. So it's just like those little things. So why get to know the office staff that's being paid to be there? Well, they're the people they're going to ensure that you get paid as well. So kind of goes both ways. Um, the next thing is you've got other agents that are with that brokerage. And I know that there's a lot of like virtual brokerages happening now, but there's still gatherings and spaces, whether it's a virtual space. My office, we do weekly Zoom meetings, and most of our agents are putting their cameras on, even though, I mean, we do have brick and mortar, but our agents are so far spread that we might as well be a virtual brokerage at this point. So, but we do make it a point to get on, to connect. Our cameras are on, we're engaging with each other, agents are asking other agents support. And it's really nice because what one agent has experienced or has knowledge or a previous deal like, and now you've got something and you're like, hey, has anyone seen this? That agent can offer that wisdom and insight to kind of help you and maybe help you think outside the box when you're dealing with maybe a client or a transaction or a home inspection that's like, oh, I've never experienced this. And we always joke. In fact, there are a bunch of people in the waiting room. We always joke that no matter how long you've been doing this, that there's always a transaction you're like, man 15 years in this, I've never had that happen. And that'll continue to happen because you're dealing with different people, different homes, different contracts, different areas. So there's always going to be that situation where you're going to be like, man, I thought I saw it all, but I didn't. So having that support and that camaraderie within your office, within fellow agents, will help you foster those transactions. But then it'll also help you lean into them when you need support. Let's say you have a life situation, and it doesn't have to be bad. Like you could be getting married and you're taking this grand honeymoon, and we all know as soon as you get into the airport, your phone is like bing, 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 bing. This client who's ghosted you for months wants to see a property finally. And that client who you thought was right at the finish line decides that they want to pull out and see other options. And you're like, oh my gosh. And now I'm about to be like out of the country for a week or 2 weeks or whatever it is. If you don't have this already built relationship with the agents in your office, who are you really going to call? And it's not going to be the Ghostbusters, right? Like you're going to need to like have a pre-existing relationship where you're not just like going to randomly call and be like, hey, Kevin, you don't know me, but we work for the same company. I'm going to be out of town for like 2 weeks in Italy. Can you like help me like this inspection and these showings and that? He's going to be like, no, why I want to go to Italy. Like, who are you? So build those relationships so you can rub shoulders with those that are having tried and true success. So you can call and bounce ideas off of if you've got a situation or you've got an idea that you're thinking about doing, you have those people that you can kind of network with inside your own company. And then they're going to help you with like company resources. I've worked for a couple different brands in a management setting, and all of your companies have really amazing resources. Like it didn't matter what brokerage I was with or what girlfriend I was having lunch with. Like there's so many untapped resources that your brokerages give to you. And you may not know what those are, but that other agent may know what some of those resources are. And then you may be utilizing whatever tool from your company and they don't know what that is. So you could really help drive a more productive and thriving business just by networking within your brokerage too. And then your managing broker. Guys, I'm a managing broker. I love managing more than I love agency. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely geek out with transactions. I love first time home buyers, move up buyers. They are my favorite. I love holding their hand. I love educating them. But as you can see, as I'm talking about it, I love the educational component. I love taking them from a, oh, I don't know if I can do this, to a, oh my gosh, I can't believe we did this. Look at us. How awesome. And that's a similar thought process for many of us that are in a management role. We want to be able to take you from this green, just coming into the business or just joining our brokerage, and we want to see you go from wherever you're at to wherever you want to go. And I'll sit with agents, and I have agents that are, in the retirement age, and they're like, listen, I just want to do a handful of deals a year. And then I have some agents that are like, I need to do as many deals as possible. I want to build a team. I want to do this, that. I want my face on a billboard. I'm there for that. I'm there for either one of those. But I love seeing that agent go from this is what I want to do to you helped me get to where I wanted to be. And your managing broker should all have that similar mindset. So lean into us, lean into them, and, have coffee with them, make an appointment. Like I tell my agents, like I want to have like a one-on-one with them at least once a month, if not 2 to 4 times a month. And I mean, it could be a simple check-in, like just, hey, last week we talked about this, like, how are you doing? Oh, you didn't make any traction. What is blocking that for you? Is there anything that I can do to remove obstacles for you? We want to see you succeed. Your managing broker wants to see you succeed. And they're also the ones that are so tapped in to like what's happening industry wise. Like I know everyone's sick and tired of hearing about the lawsuits and the changes, but I will say that your managing broker should firsthand be so close to the fire of what's happening that they should be able to offer that Cliff Notes version of what you need to do and what does that mean for the company and what policies are changing. So, don't ignore us. Let us help you. Let us be that sounding board and that coach for you. And I mean, even top agents, I mean, it's always nice to have that second set of support, someone that knows your vision and your values and where you want to go with your business and are gonna hold you accountable for that. So having that brokerage, I mean, we join a brokerage for many reasons. One, because in many capacities you need to, but another is because you need that support, you need that camaraderie, you need that space where you belong and you can foster those ideas, those clients, and grow from it. So your brokerage, first entry point to being engaged in your business and your industry, is definitely that brokerage. So if you've got brick and mortar, I encourage you, take your laptop, go into it. If you've got a virtual office, log into that virtual office, check in with everyone that's there, collaborate, ask them like, what do you got going on? Or, what are you looking to, focus on in the next couple months? And a lot of times that'll help you gauge like what you should be thinking about too. And it may not be identical to the person next to you, but you're like, oh, that's a good idea for you. But actually, that gives me an idea about this. And then now you've got this focus point for your next 6 to 8 months in the industry, right? Like, what am I focusing on? What do I need to work on? So that collaboration is great. I always say the agents that come to the office the soonest, like the most, are the agents that are writing the most amount of contracts. And again, when I say office, this could be virtual space or it could be brick and mortar, right? But the agents that are showing up, that are attending the office resources, trainings, happenings, whatever, are the agents that are bringing me the most amount of contracts because they're engaged. They're rubbing shoulders with people that are doing transactions. They're listening to terminology, to insight, to market, stats. It's a really great collaborative space for you. Marketing and resources. My office alone, we have like crazy gadgets. Like I have like a wood engraver and like a wide format printer, and like I could literally print like signs and banners and engrave cutting boards. But half my agents don't even know that, because some of them don't even come in. And it's so funny because it's like, I have these things, and your office probably has things like this too, right? In-house marketing departments. They've got many offices I've helped create virtual studios. So like an agent can come in, just set their phone in there and record whatever videos, TikToks, testimonials, whatever they wanted. But it was like an easy peasy, like plug and play type setup. And so your office probably has resources and marketing things that you can utilize as well. But you're not going to know that unless you go in and say, hey, Linda at the front desk, like, what's going on? Like, what can I, get my hands dirty with? And, what can I bind up, or what can I heat press today? So, the sky's the limit with that, but you definitely need to utilize that. You pay into a brokerage and they provide all these resources. So you want to make sure that you're utilizing it. Otherwise, you're just throwing money out there and hoping a client knocks on your door, right? Right, Kevin? Isn't that how it works? They're going to come knock on your door and say, hey, will you help me buy a house? No, you got to get into the office, you got to network, and you got to start getting some, content and things going. And then for me, professional setting. So I'm home today. Tomorrow's my big installation for presidency for Mainstreet. So I'm like running a million miles an hour. And I was telling Kevin, I'm like dabbling a little work here, doing a little laundry, dabbling a little work there, taking the dogs for a walk. And that doesn't matter if tomorrow's my installation or it's just another day in the industry. When I work from home, that's exactly what I'm doing. But when I'm at the office, I am tuned in, locked in, focused, right? I'll have like sidebar conversations with agents as they're coming and going. But for the most part, once I get in, once I get my laptop up, once I get my things going, I am hyper focused on what I'm working on. If I'm, doing client searches, if I'm, calling FISBOs for clients, looking at areas to farm to, whatever that is, I get in, and because that's it. There's no laundry to be done at the office. There's no dishes to be done or floors to be vacuumed. Like, you have your computer and that's what you're there to do. So that'll help you hyper focus on your business. But then think about clients. We're now moving back into consultations. Sellers, we have consultations in the home of, choice, right? The property that they're considering selling. But buyers, we meet them at Starbucks, and a lot of times we just meet them at the property. But it is really important that you do get that rhythm back to, meeting them, at the office. Starbucks still works great, but I do find they're super loud and distracting. I know they're super convenient because there's like a Starbucks everywhere. But I was recently at a Starbucks with a colleague, and first off, there was like only 2 plugs in the whole thing. It was super loud. The baristas were like banging around like every piece of metal they possibly could. And for me, who knew what I was like going to be presenting to them, like, it was really distracting for me. So think about your consumer or client that's sitting opposite you thinking, okay, this girl is like just like telling me all these things, and then I have all this like chatter in the background. So if you have a brick and mortar office or like a WeWork space or something like that, I would highly encourage you to go there so you can focus on your work, but then build that relationship there so you can take clients. And when you walk in, they're not like, oh, can I help you? And your client's looking at you like, really? You don't come here? And they instead you'll walk in, they'll be like, oh, hey, Connie, like, how are you? Oh, are these your clients? Oh my gosh, come on in. The consult room is ready for you guys. That's a totally different space and a totally different process for your clients. Like, that is like the professional, like, they look at you and like, oh, this is your office. These are your people. They know exactly what you're coming in here to do because you do this often. Maybe it's not as often as you'd like. I know none of us are probably, consulting with buyers as much as we'd like right now, but it kind of helps you round out your services for that client. So why your brokerage? A million and one reasons, but professional setting, office staff, marketing resources, collaboration, agent relationship building. It's a win-win going into the office. So fill up the gas, get on in there. Okay, the association, and please stop me if anyone has any feedback or questions. I know I'm like talking a million miles an hour. Okay. So the association, um, I I'm stepping into presidency for Mainstreet Organization of Realtors, largest one currently in Illinois. And when I came to them about 10 years ago, I've been doing real estate almost 15 years now. When I came to them 10 years ago, I was a shell of a human. I was the most introverted wallflower you could possibly find. I would have like anxiety going into any like setting with anybody, whether I knew you or not. Like I would get like panic attacks, and it was really, really, really bad. Um, but I remember I was working for an REO agent. I had the HUD and the Freddie Mac accounts, and I never got to see people because the properties were vacant, and the asset managers were in Texas and Florida and Georgia. So it was a phone call. I sat in my office by myself, and that was it. Like I was like almost like Milton, but I got out of the office a little bit. So going from that to where I am today, I remember I was thinking about leaving that brokerage. I wanted to start doing my own agency, and I wanted to get out of foreclosures. So they have this big thing, and I know you guys do too, Capital Conference, Realtor Lobby Day, whatever you call it. You guys all storm, well, I shouldn't say storm anymore, but you all go down to, your state capital, or in some capacity, your governmental site as a group. And, we lobby and we talk about this, that, and the other. And I remember I was standing there all by myself, and I was like hugging like my like little notepad that I had, like it was like gonna save me from all these like terrible people that I was in line with. And there was about 700 realtors, and I knew nobody. And I remember I looked behind me, and there was this girl similar in age and similarly like grasping the dear life out of her notebook. And I looked at her and I'm like, you clearly look like you are just as terrified to be here as me, and are probably like brand new and green to this whole like thing. That was an incredible day for me. I'm still really good friends with that girl 10 years later. And I remember I came back and I called Mainstreet, and literally, I will remember it verbatim. I called and I was like, hey, so I have no idea what I just attended yesterday. And the lady was like, yesterday. That was probably Capital Conference. I'm like, yeah, whatever that was, I have no idea. But clearly I don't know anything and I need to get involved. And she's like, oh, okay, well, you sound really young. So I'm gonna maybe suggest YPN could be a good starting point for you. Like this lady was probably like, what a wacko. Like I had no idea. And I was like, all right, fine. Like, sign me up. Like, what do I do? Like, do I pay for something? Like, this is how green I was. I was like, do I have to pay to be there? Like, is there an application? Like, what do I do? And she's like, I'm just gonna have the staff reach out to you. And I was like, all right. And the rest was history. And we always say YPN is like a gateway, and it really, really is. If I had not taken that leap of faith 10 years ago and put myself in an environment where I was like terrified and like so out of my element, and then gone back and, asked for more. I don't know why I asked for more, but I did. I would not be stepping into presidency as the, association president. I wouldn't have ever have gotten into, real estate management. I would have never have, I probably would not have succeeded in, client agency relationships either. And I probably wouldn't be here today in this industry if it wasn't for me taking that opportunity. Because I joke with, oh, look at how cute your building is. I joke with our CEO, John Gormley, that I feel like I get more out of the association than I give the association. Now, I've been told that that's not true, and that's why I'm stepping into this role. But there are so many opportunities that you have at your association. I know we do Leadership Academy. It's a like 1.5 day thing. I've done that the last 8 years. That was a really big starting point. That's actually, I was sitting in that meeting when we had a guest speaker from Texas, and no, it was Elizabeth Mendenhall who said this. She was like, you don't know what you like or don't like until you at least give it a try. She goes, if you get into a committee or get into an organization or a community thing and you put your name there, she goes, fulfill it, but then don't sign back up for it, right? Like, and that was the moment I was like, you know what? I'm here, I'm trying. I did YPN, I was on YPN, it was great. And that's when I decided that I was going to put my application in for board of directors. And that was a big thing. Everyone was like, you'll never make it on your first try, but it's really good to, experience. And I walked into that nominating committee where it was um, my ex managing broker and another industry member who I knew did not necessarily like me very much. And for whatever reason, whatever gods were on my side that day, I made it the first try with two of the five people. Like, no, I was like, oh my gosh, these people don't like me. I can't even believe they're the ones interviewing me. Like, I was terrified. I was like shaking. It was so bad. But you don't know what you're capable of, and you don't know what you have the ability of doing until you put yourself out there and try. And that was a true testament to the association involvement in my industry, in my life, is that they instilled that with me. And they kept reminding me. And it took me a couple years for me to like grasp on and be like, okay, maybe you're right. I was still like, no, you've got the wrong person. Like, move on. There's like 50 other people in this room. Go tap on someone else's shoulder. But the association is really there, not just to take your dues, to send, all three ways and to give you, MLS access. They're really there to help you grow as an individual. So that professional growth, I mean, I've taken ombudsman training, mediation training, I've done speech training. The association has now, in my leadership roles, I've done videos and editing, and it's crazy the opportunities. And I always keep saying yes. There are times where I'm like, I don't have the mental capacity or the time allotment for that right now. I'm like, but circle back to me the next time, because that is something I would really like to do. And every time I'm so out of my comfort zone. I like, even right now talking with you guys, even on a Zoom, I can't see anybody. I'm like, there's always that sense of like, ugh, this is not natural for me, but it's what has empowered me in my business. And that's all because of the association. The educational offerings and opportunities right now, I mean, if you haven't taken already, NAR is providing the ABR course complimentary for the course. There's still an elective for that. And then after the first year, there's that renewal fee for it. But what I always tell agents, and I'll get to the designations in a little bit, but your clients don't necessarily know what all those like acronyms at the end of your names mean. But I think that they know that it means that you know a little bit more, like you're a little bit more qualified, right? Do they know what ABR and SRES is and ePro? No, they don't know what that is. You can tell them, in your presentation, I have a sheet in there. I don't spend time on it, but I do have a sheet in my buyer and seller presentation that lists all the designations, what it means and what it means for them. So what does, a pricing strategy advisor mean for a buyer versus a seller? And it's different in both of my packages because it means something different to the seller and it means something different to the buyer. So always when you're thinking about how can I provide the best client experience, always think about, if I was the seller, what do I want to get and how do I want to receive that information? And then as a buyer, how do I want to get that information? How do I want to receive it? And that's all come from being in these professional settings with the association, attending these leadership, development academies and trainings and, designations. Advocacy and influence. This has played a really big role in my life. I never was one for like community stuff. Growing up, I wasn't like the townie or anything like that. I mean, I did my work and that was it. But as I've gotten into my, community more and more, having the advocacy and the influence piece as like a backbone from the association has helped me be more confident when I'm attending chamber events. I'm getting invites now from some of our local mayors to attend things. Just having that government 101 knowledge in the back of my head, being an RPAC major investor, knowing what that means for me, knowing what that means for my community, and then knowing what that means for the elected officials that I'm networking with has been really empowering, because I've had the mayor of Bowling, the previous mayor of Bolingbrook used to call me all of the time for market insights. And if I had gotten that call like 10 years prior, I would have been like, you definitely have the wrong person. Even though I was a licensed realtor, but because I've attended, the government affairs committee for, our association and our state association, because I've attended, the Let's Talk Real Estate that our government affairs directors have put on, it's given me more confidence and knowledge to get out in the community and be present there and network with consumers. I do a lot of networking. It's professional and community wise, right? So I network a lot with fellow realtors, and then I network a lot with our communities, and it's important. But I would never have done that had Mainstreet not empowered me and educated me. So I know that you guys have a huge RPAC presence in Miami. And I know you guys have like governmental committees and work groups and opportunities. I would recommend, and I always do tell people, if you're not involved with your association, the Young Professionals Network is by far the best and first place you should go. And the second, if not tied with first, is your governmental programming, whatever that looks like for your association, just because this is hyper local to your market. And when you're dealing with community people or just consumers in general and clients, that is going to directly go back to your agency and your book of business. And you're going to be able to talk about things that are actually happening, new developments, X developments, builders, elected. You're going to be able to answer those consumer client questions and be able to get out there and network with those that are making those decisions. So those are the two that I always recommend that you do get involved with if you're thinking about getting involved and you're not. And this picture here is super awesome. In this picture, there's probably 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 9 past presidents for Mainstreet Organization of Realtors. And this was taken in Washington, D.C. this past year. And that's an incredible picture that I have all of these powerhouses. That's my first managing broker right there, Tanya, next to the Mainstreet sign. There's our CEO, John, in the back. And it's super incredible that you can go on this journey alone, or you can join something and be part of something bigger than you, but feel so included and inclusive of yourself and those around you. And it's amazing that these individuals have supported me now through my leadership journey. So definitely need to get involved. I am I'm taking like way long, aren't I, Kevin? This is over at 1.
You're doing great. You can close at 1 your time, or you're holding a pretty good audience. There hasn't been any drop off at all. Okay. So when that happens, you can go over an hour. It's not a problem.
Okay, I'll try to not over talk so much. I do talk a lot, I'm sorry. And this is a big thing because this is like so many components of your business. But so I told you I network a lot with realtor members and consumer members. This picture here is 2 of my best girlfriends in the real estate industry. All 3 of us work for completely different companies. Why network with fellow realtors is there's a multitude of reasons. These girls have been there for me through so many life changes. They're ones that I can call and give hypothetical scenarios about things that are happening in a deal, and they've given me insights or out of the box ideas to maybe tackle an objection. And they've been really, really awesome. And this is just a few of so many. I mean, you saw in that previous photo, I could call any one of those people today and they would immediately answer and immediately want to help me, not just be there to help me. They would want to help me get through that. So, and referrals. There's a lot of times, and you guys have a very big jurisdiction too. There's a lot of times where, you know, you're maybe like South Miami and they're like more of like the like north side of it, right? Like you're getting to like Daytona-ish area. They're not going to want to make that drive. Like, so yeah, you guys might be all part of the same organization. And yeah, you may like meet in the middle for like your big conference, or I know you guys do that really awesome international thing. And sorry, Kevin, I called it a thing. I don't know exactly the name of it, but I know it's super awesome. But you're meeting them and you're all part of the same organization, but now you've got people within certain territories that you can refer business to. And I will always, hands down, refer business to someone that I've had a face-to-face conversation with, instead of just looking at an online forum of random people that I don't know A from Z for, right? So referrals, collaboration, industry insights, there's a whole plethora of reasons. So definitely, you know, you want to get involved. And this is from your website. This QR code will take you to that landing page. Told you I would talk about designations. I love that you guys still have the BPOR. That was like one of my very first designations. They don't make that one anymore, but that was my REO days. But you know, the military relocation, that's a super awesome one. PSA, you got, you know, ABR, SRS, FR, SFR. There's a new one now from NAR. It's the HFR, the home financing resource. I have not yet taken that. I've been a little busy, but it's on my to-do list to do. So I highly encourage you to do that. We're all dealing with buyers that need creative financing, and that's going to really solidify some of those ideas for us. So hopefully you guys all scan that. So this is directly on, if you just type in Miami realtors designations, it'll take you right to this landing page for you, okay? But there's a QR code. Okay, where you live. Wow, I'm really behind. Okay, so I love my community. I have sold a ton of homes in my community, and there's like 3 or 4 towns that kind of all butt up to each other. And I try to get out as much as possible. So there's a lot of different ways that you can do this. Volunteer. There is an organization I volunteer for called Sleep in Heavenly Peace. It's a national organization. We build beds for children that don't have beds. It's incredible. It's free for them. There's no income requirements. I absolutely love it. I get to go out and like use a sander and like build stuff. I mean, it's just totally, I geek out on it. And that's a huge thing. I've met some incredible people through there. I don't personally like garage sales, but I do like attending them, and I like talking to the homeowner because I want to know why they're selling all their junk. Maybe they're getting ready to move. Maybe it's an estate sale. I actually attended an estate sale that I converted into a listing and an estate sale. I was like, hey, I was like, why don't we do one better? I was like, why don't you get the house listed now and we can do the estate sale while we have it listed. And when we do open houses, we'll have the estate sale going. So we're going to get all the people that are coming to buy your junk, but then we're going to get all the people that are coming to buy the house, and then maybe they'll buy your junk. Like someone's going to buy the house and someone's going to buy the junk. But if I can maximize the amount of people coming, and they were totally on board. So I got a listing and we did the estate sale, and it was the busiest open houses I've ever had, ever. Attend local meetings. You've got school board, you've got community engagements, my Orland Park, they have like a historical museum committee. You've got the, you know, just traditional municipal board meetings. Attend those. You'd be surprised the lack of people in those rooms, but you'll be surprised the amount of information you'll get out of being there. Hosting seminars, first time home buyers, move up buyers, whatever you want to do, selling, any of that stuff. Gym membership. I have a bunch of like gym rat shirts that have some sort of paraphernalia about real estate on it. NAR has these really cute realtor leggings that are all bedazzled. I love anything blingy, so and it catches people's attention. Local fests and traditions. So my community does like a Caribbean nights, a block party, the Irish parade. Like they're like every month there's like something going on, and I go to every single one of them, and every time I'm there I run into a client. every time. So I always have business cards. And then I get to see like their kids. A lot of them have kids, not all of them, but most of them do. And I'm like, oh my God, Brianna's so big now. So it gives me an opportunity to get back in face with them. So community drives. I've done this several years. I'll do it again this year. It's not really relevant for your market, but think about it. I do a coat drive. Chicago, we have terrible winters. And we do have a pretty decent homeless, low income, we've got a lot of organizations that take in coats. So I do coat drives. I have like a postcard I send out to my neighborhood, social media things. And there's a box outside my house that I put by the garage. And so it tells people that, hey, I am legit your neighbor, hyper local to you. Your value matches my values. And it gives that community involvement, and it puts my business in front of them. So it's a nice way of saying like, hey, you always get those postcards like, I'm not just your local realtor, I'm your neighbor. Well, how do I really know you are? Because I got those for people that lived on the other side of town. But this actually tells them like, I am legit your neighbor. And I just heard, I had an agent tell me his last two, and for our market, these are big, but over $1 million listings came from cigar bars. So I think I might need to start frequenting the cigar bar. I don't know. I guess that's where the money is. So, but think about things that you can do to get out in your community that make sense for you. There's farmers markets, there's all kinds of things. And then local content, if you're visiting like a new coffee shop, ice cream parlor, florist, just take like a little video. Like it doesn't have to be you and your face. It could literally just be showcasing the local space and like tag them in it. And I mean, you'll get a bunch of views off of that. And now you're helping that local business stay open too. So it's a win-win for a lot of people. Okay, so how do you break this down? Because there's like 1,000,001 ways that you can divide your time. And so here's probably for me, this is probably where I stay at. So I volunteer a lot. Several Saturdays a month, you'll see me building beds, hosting events. I'm constantly getting that out there. I'm putting together some football events now that's football season. Got to get the boys out. The boys like the football, the girls like the wine. So try to mirror your clientele. Showcasing local businesses. I love getting out. I'm a foodie, so I'm always tagging businesses in that. I rate espresso martinis, and then I tag them, and people are always like, I'll have people like come up to me like, oh my God, that espresso martini you posted the other day, where was that? I gotta go. I have to go get that. I'm like, okay. Well, it's on my TikTok. Attending meetings, sponsoring events. This has actually started to tick up more. I started volunteering a lot of local sporting events, which is really cool because they're lower price. They're super hyper local, and they pretty much let me do whatever I want. They're like, you want 15 signs out there, go ahead, girl, like you do you. And then community content. So you can, and the last one that got caught off, that last 5% is partnering with local schools. Something that I was on the fence about doing, and it's a little late to the game, but I'm still doing it, is I always used to do those like fridge magnets with the calendar, and you're like, all right, and I'll show you one I did at the end of this, but this year I changed it and I'm doing the school calendar with the days off and like the breaks. Because I don't know about your schools, but mine, like I have to log into an app and go to a site and then like click a link, and then it's like a PDF online. Like it's not even it's like a list. And I'm like, I want to look at my fridge and be like, oh, Vinny doesn't have school today. Or like, oh, winter break starts this day or that day. They don't do that. They make it so hard for us. So I'm like, two birds with one stone. I'll get in with the schools, make these cute little magnets I'm like, what parent isn't going to want to stick that on their fridge, right? They want to know when little Johnny is going to school or not. So just little things that you can do to partner with that. And a lot of schools do like educational things where you can come in and you can talk about career building, being an entrepreneur. I know our local high school has entrepreneur class. It's a whole semester long. And they invite different entrepreneur businesses into the class to talk about that industry. So that's a huge thing that you can do to get into that. Okay, clients, we're getting close there. So why stay friends? I don't stay friends with all my clients. There are some clients who are like, oh my gosh, this was like the most draining deal of my life. Like, I literally need to go drink that whole like bottle of Chardonnay that I promised my secretary because, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're like still dealing with this. Like, there are some of those clients. But for the most part, we do business with people we really like. And we love seeing them get into their first home, or they're, downsizing, or maybe they're opening a business. Like, you're there for like the most incredible moments of their life. So you don't want to just like give them the keys, like in the little corner here, like, here's your keys, see you later. Like, I have a client who bought with me last year, and he was messaging me last night about building a garage and where and value and how much should it be. And I mean, he could have asked anybody. He could have just went and gotten a bunch of contractors, but he thought of me first. He's like, if anyone's going to have my back with home equity and making sure that I'm making the right decisions, it's my realtor. And I've built and developed those relationships with so many of my clients. I've done it too well, though. I keep looking, none of them have moved. It has been 10 years, Kevin. Not a single one of them has moved from their house. I'm like, come on. I sold you that good of a house. You don't want a new one? It's so frustrating. But it also facilitates that repeat business. And I've had several repeat business. They've referred people to me. I'm working with a new client that they were like, oh my gosh, my friend said that you're the best realtor ever. And I'm like, well, says your friends, but I'll take it. So that helps, strengthen that reputation, strengthen that business for you. How you can stay friends. So social media is a great way of doing that. Be sociable with them. Don't just like their story or post, comment, because they don't see every like. It says like, oh, John Doe and Jane Doe liked, and so did 75 other people. Like and comment. Happy birthdays, anniversaries, life things, random funny posts that they put. Like, all of that matters to them. That's reminding them that you have a human relationship together. Um, Marketing and resources. So Tom Ferry says that we should be sending market reports, CMAs, whatever, to your past clients like twice a year, every 6 months. I, at the very least, like to do it every year at their home anniversary month to say, hey, another year in your home. Look at how awesome it is. Not sure what you've done to it, but here's, a brief, market update. Here, what's happening in your, neighborhood. There's a lot of programs too where you can send a monthly or quarterly market update. Some brokerages have this built into their back end. Some CRMs have it built in. Some MLSs do. So look at your resources. I don't like the monthly because I feel like it's like over like doing it. The clients, I don't think will pay attention. Like, how much does a home really change month over the month? That's rhetorical because sometimes it does change quite a bit, as we just saw with the interest rates. However, market value wise, like, it's not going to go from like this to that like overnight. So quarterly to me is like a sweet spot, every 6 months, but at least every year. So think about that. And then personal touches. My Amazon probably has like almost all of my clients' addresses in there because they've had children, they've had anniversaries, they've had deaths, they've had pets, they've had life things happen. My one client went into ministry school and he needed help buying some of his ministry books. So you better believe I jumped on Amazon, I snagged a bunch of them and sent it to his house. Like, those are the little things that for me don't really hurt me that much, but it goes so far for them, like, it didn't really take that much resources out of my life to send, a little gift pack for a brand new baby, or, a couple $10-15 books so he can become a pastor. Like, that that goes so much farther for them. So that's how you build that work by referral resources. So little things like that. And then hosting little like events. You'll see at the end, I love events. I think I do more events than I do anything else, but oh, they're here. We're almost done, Kevin. Okay, so I have pretty much done it all. So I've done Donuts with Santa, community event, free picture. So they get pictures with Santa Claus, which in our market, we have what's called Bass Pro Shop. And we've got the mall. The mall Santa is so crazy though. It's like $50 just for like a little like wallet size. I'm like, who is this? And then, but we've got Bass Pro Shop that do like free, but they're always sold out. Like, the lines are super long. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have my own pictures with Santa for free. And it was crazy. I ran out of donuts. We had to go back and get more. Like, and it was so simple. It was like donuts, hot chocolate, orange juice, milk. And I had Walmart is our like local, big box cheap store to go to. And they made in the bakery like a dozen donuts for like $3 for me. And they decorate them like red and green with like little like light bulbs on them. Like they were the cutest little thing for $3 for a dozen donuts. It was a no-brainer. And I had someone dress up as Santa Claus, and it was amazing. So that was a really good one. I had Easter Bunny pictures here. So that's me and my little guy, but this was open. The fun thing about this Easter event is I opened it for the first hour for dogs. And you wouldn't believe the amount of people that came with their little like fluffy to get pictures with Easter Bunny. I was like, this is so random. People love their dogs so much. So, and then after that, it was open for kids, and they painted like little clay pots, and the store had like little dollar spring bulbs that the kids got to pick, a tulip or hyacinth or whatever. Yeah. And then here's that really tried and done what do you call calendar there. But again, this year I'm doing the school calendar. So I think that's going to make a huge impact. I enter a company into a gingerbread house competition. Clearly I'm with Remax. We did trunk or treats. My van was all decked out, lights. There was a fog machine. I mean, it was crazy. And then this up here is something I use. It's called Postable. I don't normally talk about programs that cost money, but this to me is a no-brainer. I've gone in and you can put all of your contacts in there, their names, their addresses, their birthdays, their anniversaries, their kids, their spouses. You can connect it all. You can create like a QR code or a link, and they can go in and add their stuff. My whole family's in there. And what you can do is you can set it up where it'll automatically send a birthday card, an anniversary card on behalf of you to them when their birthday and anniversary come up. It's like $3 or so a card, but it's personalized. They have like a bunch of templates, but you can see here, you can make your own on Canva or purchase the rights to one or something and upload it in there, and it's going to go off for their birthday, right? I would recommend changing it every year so they're not getting the same birthday card from you every year. But this to me, I love this. I use it for the Christmas cards too. I don't send my Christmas cards through here, but I make sure that all of my people's addresses, so my my lending partners, my affiliates, my flooring people, my home warranty, my inspectors, the people that make my business run and operate are also in here. So at the end of the year, when I want to go do like a master mail of something, I just download the sheet and all of the labels are there for me. So I love Postable. I love the automatic birthday cards. Emails are great, but a card, if you can send them something physical in the mail like that, it's the first piece of mail they're going to open, because it doesn't look like a bill. It doesn't look like you're asking for money. It looks like you're there to celebrate them, and you are. So those are some of the things that I like to use. And then this is a new thing that I've been doing. I told you I'm super hyper local. I do love my doggies. This is a Shiba. It's not my Shiba. My Shiba's a little too wild and too old to sit for such a cute picture, but I have an Instagram page that I started not too long ago, where I literally just post pictures of puppies and homes. You wouldn't believe the amount of people that just love seeing puppies. And where I'm taking this next is I'm making coasters for a couple of the local bars and restaurants. There's a couple of them that let me put stuff in. And so it'll have their logo on one side. And then on this side, it'll have this information. And, people are sitting at the bar having a diet Pepsi or whatever, and they can scan this and they can scroll through and see the cutest little dogs and all of the cutest little homes. So, and it's just bridging that. And then for every I donate goods and money to one of the local animal shelters that I used to foster for. So again, hyper local community, staying involved, getting my name out there. The shelter loves it when I come and I drop off beds and blankets and food and shampoo. They absolutely love it, because they don't get that stuff, and they're not funded. They're a independent non-for-profit. So just little things that you can think about, and again, this may like not be your jam at all. You may be like, I can't stand animals, I'm allergic, but there are things that you can do that make sense for you, that will make sense for your community. Like I had an agent, 21-year-old kid guy, and his previous mentor told him to door knock with flower packets, like the little seeds you put in the ground to, plant and they'll grow tulips. And I looked at him and I said, you're a 21-year-old guy. I was like, do you really think when you open that door, there's another guy standing there, you're like, here's some tulip seeds. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, let me sell your house with you. I was like, Brett, I was like, you need to do something that speaks for you. Like, so I think what he did is he wound up getting involved with like the local, like school sports and started helping them like collect like donations and stuff. I said, that's more your jam, like something that makes sense for you. Like, cause he was an ex-football player, like in high school, like that makes more sense. I'm like a 21-year-old kid showing up, be like, will you sell your house with me? Here's some tulip seeds. I'd be like, kick rocks. What are you doing? Who told you to do this? Like, this makes no sense. So you have to do something that makes sense for you. Okay. All right, so to wrap it up, where do you start? Like I just threw like 1,500 things at you and I'm like, do it all. But I didn't do it all at once, right? Like I started here and then I added this. And then I let that kind of marinate for a while. And I'm like, oh, well, let me add this to my, repertoire of things and hats that we wear, right? So where to start? First off, you're already in your association. I gave you a great starting point. Sign up for one of those designations. If you haven't taken the free ABR from NAR or Miami, definitely look into that. I mean, that's super important, especially in our business right now. So start there. Look at, what events you guys have coming up and attend one. Pick one out. You don't have to go to all of them. Pick something out. Like you're here today, but I encourage you to pick something that's going to be face to face. Connect with your brokerage. If you don't have a good relationship, like if you're not already connecting on a weekly or bi-weekly basis with your office, now is the time to start. Shoot your managing broker or the office staff an email and say, hey, I want to come in. I want to start getting involved more. When do you have time for coffee? Start there. Just start there. You don't have to like jump full feet in and sign up for every. So I think a lot of brokerages have like their own like committees and things. You don't have to do that. Just start by going, start by networking, rubbing shoulders, engage with your community. We're at the time of year right now, and I don't know what it looks like in Miami, but Midwesterns, we love all of our fall fest. We love all of our pumpkins, our fall fest, our scarecrows. There's an event going on literally every day somewhere locally. So, get out there. Also, your local chamber of commerce, even if you don't join like a committee or something, you can join the chamber and attend the events that the chamber is having. They do a lot of like after hours or networking or business luncheons. There's going to be other realtors there. I mean, you guys have a lot of realtors in your area. I think you guys have like what, 50 or 60,000 members. I mean, you guys have a lot, but so there's going to be other people there, but those are people you can still network with, right? It's okay. There's plenty of business for us all, kind of. But you're going to be able to get out there and network with other consumers too. Okay. And you're getting that process started. Like I said, don't jump all in and be like, sign me up, sign me up. Reach out to past clients, however this looks like. I know it's super weird. You're like, oh, okay, she wants me to pick up the phone and call and be like, hey, client, I sold a house to you 7 years ago. No, they're going to be like, okay, where have you been the last 7 years? But what I did when I lost the ability to do that is I went into my back end. I pulled all of the properties I sold. I went to the tax records. I looked up all of those properties and I matched the address to the client to the tax records, and they were all still there. Then I sent out a letter and said, hey, here I am. I haven't forgotten about you. You might have forgotten about me. I'm here. And then I threw in like an event, like something going on, whether it was community related or something personal that I was hosting. Great starting point. Okay. And then set up a marketing plan. I get together with a group of girls in real estate that are none of us are in the same brokerage. And there's like 5 of us. We get together and in our little like handy dandy notebooks, we go through and we put all 12 months down and then we mark what we do in every month. And it's not like what we do every day of every month, because that is so overwhelming. Like we as humans have so many things going on in our lives. Like that is crazy talk. Absolutely not. But I will put in there like August is the month for this, or September is, pop by month, and I'm going to create a pop by, and I don't give it to all my clients. Like I kind of cycle them. So like, it's probably like every 2-3 months I do a pop by, and every 2-3 pop buys, that client will be back on the list. So I kind of like divided my list of past clients into like thirds. And again, you don't have to put every client on that list, but you should put majority of your clients on that list. So just think about your relationship with them. If that was a very, like I had one client who was a family member. It was so bad. He would like call me and just be like belligerent. At one point he was like, I don't care what your son has to do today. I want to see this property. And I was like, uncle, you have seen this property like 5 times. You are under contract, and I am not missing my kid's baseball game to show your girlfriend who is not on the loan. That client, AKA also family, is not on my pop by list. So just know, you don't have to put them all there. You don't have to spend more money on them, but you should put most of your clients on there. So sit down, get a group of you guys together. If you've got friends in the industry, like, hey, let's go grab lunch, or, let's go over to so-and-so's house, like we'll have tea, whatever, wine. And then sit down, and you can all each do something, but at least you can be together and brainstorm together. Like, hey, that would be a really good idea for you. That won't really work for me, but I think you should definitely do that. So where to start? Join something at your association, connect with your office, look at your upcoming community events, pick out something that, brings value to you. Reach out to past clients. Like I said, it could be a simple, pull the list, double check it twice like Santa, send a letter, and then you can start following up with whatever, calls, texts, pop-bys, but you gotta re-engage starting someplace. And then sit down and come up with a marketing plan. Look at all 12 months. Don't plan something for every day of every 12 months. Plan something for every month that brings value to your business. And business cards. We all have to have business cards. I have a digital thing. You'll see it. Those are great, but there are still times where you just need to hand them an actual card. You just need to. So always make sure you have business cards on you. I can't tell you how many times I go out with other realtors and I'm like, what do you mean you don't have your card? I was like, well, I guess I'm giving them just my card. That's fine. Fine with me. I'll give them my card. All right. That is all. I didn't go over too bad, 13 minutes. But I mean, you just have to start somewhere. Take all of this with a grain of salt. This works for me. Doesn't necessarily mean that this is a complete overlay that's going to work for you. Miami is a different, animal than Chicago. And the markets are different. Our clients are different. You guys have definitely a very international presence. So you've got a lot of opportunities there. Just think about, what is your focus, and, what do you want to get out of it, and how can you start someplace? Just start with something. Okay. This is my contact information. If you guys ever want to reach out to me, easy peasy, sellingwithconnie.com. You can email me at sellingwithconnie@gmail.com. You can find me TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. I'm on all of the things, but TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, you'll see me more at. Simple, just, at Connie Vavra. And there is my QR code. You can scan it. It takes you to my link tree. I absolutely love Linktree. You can too. There's a free version of it, but I have a company website, and most of you probably do too. But what I love about Linktree is that it's a singular website that I can take someone to, and I can put all of my social medias on there. I can put my buyer seller packet as a PDF on there. I can put training materials that I've done on there. I could put links to my company website, to home searches, to my, Puppies Love Homes Instagram charity page. You can put it all there. It's got a little save your contact card. It's really an amazing tool, because what I found is, if I, give them, here's my website, here's my, Instagram. This I love. It's just a one-stop shop. So last plug for techie stuff. But I appreciate you guys. I'm sorry I literally just talked at you. I love when we're in person and it's like interactive. So Kevin, tell your CEO to have me down there. I'd love to take a trip to Miami, do something in person with you guys. You guys are awesome. we've had your CEO come up, and she actually led our Leadership Academy 2 or 3 years ago. So we're great friends with Miami, and I have my Miami pin somewhere, the little palm tree. I got to find it. So
If you can't find it, we got plenty more for you. Don't worry about it.
I think, you know what it is, Kevin? I think I lost the back to it. So you might need to send me one. I wouldn't mind.
Sure. We can set you up with that. No problem.
I think, Eve, did you have a question or comment? No, just raising your, just waving. Excellent. Well, thank you all so very much. Hopefully I will get to meet and see more of you at, well, the next time we're going to be in Boston. Shameless plug for YPN. If you are going to NAR Next in Boston in November, there is an additional thing that you can do for Reef. There is a 5K walk run. No, you don't have to run. A lot of people will just briskly walk it. But we encourage you to sign up for that. I think the fee is $50. And if you are a YPN member or YPN advocate, there's a YPN team. We're having a healthy competition with the other teams. So we'd love to be the largest team at the Boston 5K. So again, you don't have to run. You can simply walk it. You don't have to do the whole thing. But if you sign up for the YPN team, there's some additional swag that you'll get in your runner's pack. So thank you again, and I'll see you guys in Boston.
Thanks, Connie. Appreciate you.
Thanks. Take care, guys.
And thank you, everybody, for attending today. We will send you the recording next week.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course I'm going to be on my laptop.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course I have a full purse.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course I'm eating before I leave.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course I'm sneaking out for showing.
We're YPN leaders.
Of course we're going to be creating content.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course I'm signing up for classes.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course I'm Cafecito obsessed.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course I'm going to crash the next happy hour.
If I'm on my way home, yeah. Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, don't you still amaze me? Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, don't you still amaze me? Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, don't you still amaze me? Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, don't you still amaze me? If I'm on my way home, yeah. If I'm